G'day camper. If you're in the business of selling camp chairs, I reckon it's got to be pretty hard to stand out. So how does Oztent do it with their Goanna chair? Well, they add some hotspots. But is this chair a gimmick? Or is it actually worth adding to your setup? Let's find out now. Now before we go any further, I just want to confirm with you that no review on this channel will ever be sponsored by the product I'm reviewing. This chair I borrowed from my mate Harry. So who is this chair for? This chair is great for the solo camper or the camping crew of two. If you're starting to talk families, a whole bunch of these is going to take up a lot of space. And I particularly recommend this chair for campers of a larger stature. It is sturdy and roomy. It's probably not for the hatchback camper, definitely more for large vehicles, caravans and camper trailers. If you buy a Oztent Goanna Hotspot chair, here's what you get. A chair in a bag and one of these. Now the chair has pockets for 4 of those, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But first, here's all the hard stats. The chair has a powder-coated hammer-tone steel frame and the fabric is a 600 denier nylon. It weighs 7.1 kilos and that's me having measured that on the scales at home with 4 of those heat packs in the bag. The chair is rated to hold 200 kilos. That is a pretty impressive rating for a camp chair. Packed up, the chair measures 104 centimeters long by 24 centimeters wide by 28 centimeters high. When set up, the chair measures 47 centimeters from the ground to the seat at the front of the chair. The back of the chair measures 106 centimeters from the ground to the top. The width of the seat base, measured right in the middle, is 60 centimeters. And the depth of the seat, so that's from the front to where the chair back comes in, that's 48 centimeters. Straight out of the box, you get a 2-year warranty, but if you register it on the Oztent website, you get another 3 for a total of 5 years warranty. Oztent chairs are available worldwide and retail for between 150 to 200 Australian dollars or 140 to 160 US dollars. Now let's set it up and take a look. First of all, the bag is nice and sturdy, well sewn together and nice loose fit, so it's pretty easy to get the chair into the bag. Now this is something I love about quad fold chairs. Bang, you're ready to sit. Here's a cool little feature. The bag is actually designed to be poked inside this pocket here. So your bag doesn't go missing, but now you also have a nice little pillow here. It's pretty comfy. It sits right at the base of my head, sort of in the neck there. Have to work it around a little bit. There's 4 other pockets that run down the back of the chair and underneath. These are the hotspot pockets. Now things start getting really flash back here. These straps here and here are the lumbar support. So that pulls the back of the chair in, and on the other end they are anchored into the arms, which means there's a fair bit of pressure on those straps because the full weight of your back is pushing into them. So I'm pleased to see that the straps are anchored and sewn all the way up the arm, right to the point where the steel frame attaches to the arm. Loosening the lumbar support is best done while you're out of the chair, but adjusting it is really easy. You can just grab the straps, get yourself perfect. Oh, it's so good. Sticking to the topic of the arms, back on the arms here we've got another strap, and that serves to adjust your arm height. So a lot of chairs just rely on this mechanism here. I don't know what it's called, so if you do know, please let me know in the comments, but I'm just going to call it the hole and a pole mechanism, okay? So you can adjust the back of your arms by sliding it up and down the pole, but as soon as you put pressure here, it puts the hole on an angle and it kind of locks it in place, or at least that's how it's supposed to work. Because in practice, I always find that over time sitting around camp, the back of the arms slides down on me, end up with my elbows down here, and I keep having to hike it up. So this strap does away with that problem. That's now locked in place, not going anywhere. There's storage for your phone and a drink holder on this side, and on the other side just divided mesh pocket for what have you. And then there's the hotspot pouch. So your chair will come with one. Inside it is a non-toxic sodium acetate, and it's got this little metal disc. You click the disc and you literally watch the reaction happen before your eyes. Oztent say that stays hot for an hour, but I've found it to still give reasonable warmth after 3. When that reaction first happens, they do go quite solid and can be a little bit uncomfortable. But because they're still warm, I find once the reaction's completely occurred, give each pouch a bit of a massage and it becomes pretty soft and pliable again. Apparently they're reusable up to 500 times, and you reset them by boiling them on your camp stove or at home in a pot of water. You can also use them to chill your chair down, so you can pop the pouches in the fridge or freezer for an hour or so until they go nice and cold and solid. But solid is kind of the problem. When I first sat in this chair, I sat down and went, what in God's name is digging into my back? And then I found one of the stone cold pouches in there. So once they go cold, that stuff goes really rock hard and is quite uncomfortable. So if you're not using them, you definitely want to take them out. And personally, I'm not going to use them cold. So as I said at the start, this chair is on loan to me from Harry, and it's been in my possession for about 6 months. So in my 6 months experience over a number of camping trips, here are my pros and cons. Pro number 1, it is roomy. So if you're of larger stature, this chair is going to serve you well. Pro number 2, the fabric all through the chair is double layered. Now that's great because it's going to make it stronger, but in between each layer, there's a thin layer of foam padding. So that makes it even more comfortable, and even without the Hotspot pouches, is going to make for a warmer chair. Pro number 3 is the feet. Now the feet on quad fold chairs are usually a pretty big weak point. So on this, they're die cast. That's going to make it a lot tougher. Pro number 4, the frame is thicker and stronger than most other quad fold camp chairs. Now of course that makes it a bit heavier, but there's no flex in this frame. You can push off the arms to get out of the chair and I don't feel any movement. Pro number 5, while it is a little bit of messing around to boil and reset the heat packs, and they are a novelty, not a necessity, they are so nice. Especially if you've got a bit of an aching back or it's a really cold night. You're gonna love it. And now remember, every pro has its con. So let's talk about them. Con number 1, shorter people might have trouble with their feet reaching the floor. My wife is 5'6" and she has that trouble. Con number 2, the drink holder's pretty useless. I find drink holders in the arms of the chair tend to work a little better. On the side there, you put your drink in it and it kind of hangs over and moves around a bit too much. But having said that, I have found that drink holders in most chairs are pretty lacking anyway. Con number 3, it only comes with the 1 heat pack. And as I said earlier, there's space for 4. So if you want to go all the way, you're looking at spending $25 to $30 per heat pack, or up to an extra $90. Con number 4, the pack size is pretty big. And in my case, with all the stuff I have to carry camping with a toddler, I just don't have room for something that packs this big. Then you've got the problem where as soon as someone else in your family sits in your chair, they're going to love it because it's so comfortable, and they're going to want their own. And then suddenly I'm going to find myself dedicating half of my packing to chairs. Now, has anything broken? Nothing at all. And I kind of expect that given I weigh 74 kilos and the chair's weighted to 200. Having said that, it's probably worth talking about parts and repairability. You can get replacement bags and die-cast feet on the Oztent website. If you were to lose a bolt or a rivet from the frame due to corrugations or something, that sort of thing happens to me pretty often. They're pretty standard, easy things to replace from the hardware store yourself. A broken frame or severe damage to the seat itself, I think that's going to mean a replacement chair. But they do have contact details on the Oztent website specifically for parts and repair inquiries. First of all, when you're resetting your pouches, make sure they're fully submerged and give them a good long boil. You don't want them to be crystallized at all because once they cool, any crystals left in there seem to set off the chain reaction again automatically and the whole thing solidifies. Tip number 2 is one that Harry gave me, which is to reset your pouches right before you're going to use the chair and then just pop them straight in the pockets without activating them. So you're going to have residual heat from the boil, and then as they cool off, click the little tab to activate them and go again. And then you get most of an evening with a nice warm bum. Number 3 would be to consider the table accessory. Now, Harry did lend me this, but I haven't been able to use it because he didn't include the bracket to attach it to the chair. It can swivel away from the chair and back over, and it can tilt. It'll be a good spot to eat your dinner and rest your drink. I have owned a chair with a table before, and I loved it. So, will it stay in my kit? No. Look, it is a great, sturdy, roomy chair, but, well, for one, it belongs to Harry. But even if it didn't belong to Harry, the place that I'm at with my vehicle and a growing family, a small camper trailer, and no big spacious caravan to store it, means it just doesn't fit my needs. Do you own one of these or a similar chair? If you do, and you've got any tips and tricks to share, please pop a comment down below, and you may just be helping a fellow camper in the future.